Right. Welcome back to Meet the Mets fans. I'm here on the pod, Justin, Sid. How's it going, guys? Opening day in the books. We are ready to go. How are you guys doing? How you guys feeling?
Love it, love it, love it. We can't get enough. I'm kind of upset we had a day off right after opening day. Kind of took the wind out of my sails. I'm ready to rock. I want to go for a nice 7 game stretch.
And we'll have those, Sid. We will have those. We'll have the dog days of summer coming up, but man, that was an exciting game. That was pretty awesome. I know we got death, taxes, and the Mets win on opening day, right, as our headline to start this up. And that is true. The Mets have the overall best record in all of baseball in terms of its opening day. But man, that was an exciting game. I got to say, I was, I'm at work, trying to watch, also working. I'm then driving home in my car. So it was a little crazy being a 1:15 game on a Thursday. But man, that did not disappoint. I can tell you that much, gentlemen. That did not disappoint.
I know I had a deposition that got canceled, and I was so happy. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna miss opening day. And then they canceled this depo, and I was just right or wrong. Like it was meant to be. Meant to be.
I was going to say that. It was meant to be. Mets opening day, we all had to see it. Luckily for me, I was able to get a vacation day and be able to be at that game, talk to a lot of fans from the parking lot before the game got started. Some fans during the game. It was pretty awesome. It was a great experience. The vibes at Citi Field, they felt amazing, right? It felt great to have baseball back, but there was something more than that happening in that ballpark. This team just felt incredible throughout this entire game. The energy was live. Fans, so we have a lot for you on this podcast, doing the thing that we said we wanted to do as a podcast, which is bringing the fan voice here, letting you guys hear from each other about how you're feeling about this game. So you heard our predictions on the last episode of the podcast. In this episode of the podcast, we're going to recap opening day. You're also going to hear from a bunch of Met fans on their predictions for how this season is going to go. So let's start off with the first one right now. Nicholas from Port St. Lucie joined me at a tailgate in the parking lot. Nicholas, take it away.
First, what's your name?
How's it going, guys? My name is Nicholas.
Nicholas Hoffman. Nicholas, where are you from? From Staten Island, New York. I live in Port St. Lucie, Florida right now. Oh, you're in Port St. Lucie?
Yes,
Checking
sir.
out Mets games down there?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's awesome, dude. Nicholas, all right, so I'm going to ask you a couple questions about the Mets for this season. Your predictions, tell me what you think. Where are the Mets finishing this year?
Second.
Second place in the NL East. Making the playoffs?
Yes.
All right, what's our win total?
84.
84 wins Nicholas has got the Mets on.
Yeah.
Mets MVP, what do you think?
Soto.
Juan Soto?
Yeah.
How many home runs?
48.
48? You're correct. Almost 50?
Almost
I got to ask the stolen bases then. I wasn't going to ask. Stolen bases, 40-40 guy?
38.
38, just
48,
missing
38.
it. Just short, just like last year. All right, Mets Cy Young this year. Who's winning it?
Freddie.
Okay, Freddy Peralta.
It should be close to Freddie and Nolan.
Freddie and Nolan. All right.
Yeah.
Who wins Rookie of the Year on the Mets? Who's the most important? Is it Carson Bench? Is it Nolan McClain? Is it somebody we haven't thought of yet? Rookie of the Year. Carson Bench,
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year. Who's the most important piece in the bullpen?
Brazoban. Brazoban can stay healthy.
Huascar Brazoban. All right.
He's really good, but he's old. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be amazing.
Coming up next, we have Carl, also known as DJ K Squared. Take it away, Carl.
Citi Field opening day. I got to ask you, what do you think the Mets are going to do this year? Where are we finishing?
Listen, I know what the expectations are this year. What happens, who the hell knows, right? I mean, we as Mets fans, we've kind of been dealing with just uncertainty for how many years now. We stack the lineup. We think we had it looks great on paper. Sometimes they start off good, and then it just fizzles out,
Right.
Listen, we've made some good runs. 2 years ago, we made that amazing run. Listen, if we could get it going, if the names can perform, then we're going to be okay.
Yeah. Playoff team?
Okay. I sure as hell hope so.
All right.
Sure as hell hope so. I mean, listen, we can't be paying these guys this much money to not perform.
I'm with you. I'm with you. We got to be a playoff team this year, right? If you had to pick projection right now, who's the most important player for this team? Mets MVP.
I think it has to be Soto.
Okay.
I think it has to be Soto. If Soto doesn't step up and have a huge year this year, he's going to have a big problem in New York for the rest of his career.
And it's a long career here in New York.
Just saying.
How many home runs does Juan Soto hit this year?
I think he's got to hit at least 30. He's
Okay.
got to hit at least 30.
30. You think he's going to steal the amount of bases he stole last year?
I think he will. I think he will.
30,
'Cause
30
he's
guy.
real good on the bases. He's real good on the bases.
All right. Mets Cy Young this year. Who's the most important guy for that starting rotation?
I like our rookie. I mean, listen, I don't think he's gonna get the Cy Young, and you know what I mean. But I like him. I like what he has to deliver right now.
All right, Nolan McLean is our guy winning the most important pitcher for the Mets. Right, who's the most important?
This is going to be the most generic answer you've ever heard, but it's from the heart, straight up. That whole bullpen has to perform.
Okay.
The whole bullpen has to perform, man. If we can't keep runs off the board in the late innings, we're screwed.
All right,
We're screwed.
I'm with you, man. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, next up here, we got Steve from Michigan.
Steve, where are you from?
I'm from Michigan.
Steve from Michigan. We got a Michigan here? You're
Michigan.
traveling down to watch opening day?
We drove all the way for opening day.
That's amazing. All
I'm
right.
an ex-Staten Islander, though.
Okay,
So
all right.
now you know where my heart is.
All right, got you, Steve. Steve, tell me, most important player for this team, MVP of the New York Mets this year, who's going to be?
The water boy.
The water boy. Tell
Yeah.
me more.
Well, he's going to keep everybody hydrated when it's hot.
All right.
You know, we got too many studs.
Okay.
You know, I'm not going to pick one of the studs. The water boy is going to be the most important.
Keep us hydrated.
Keep us hydrated.
See, he keeps us hydrated.
See how we're hydrated now?
That's right.
The water boy is going to keep them hydrated.
Appreciate it. That's right,
Okay.
Steve. How many games, if the water boy keeps us as hydrated as he should, how many games does this team win? Where do we finish? Are we a playoff team?
Oh, we're a playoff team. We're a playoff team if we're healthy.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, the water boy is going to keep us healthy.
Well, he's just going to keep us hydrated.
All right.
There's a difference between hydrated and healthy.
That's right.
You know, let's ask Lindor. Is he healthy?
Well, we hope.
We hope
We
he
hope.
is.
He's
You
ready
know,
for opening day. He's starting.
Okay. Did we bring him back too early?
Potentially.
Potentially. We're going to see
Potentially.
all this.
Listen, he's not going to have the pop
No.
necessarily. Not to start.
Not necessarily.
But if he puts the bat on the ball,
But he's
then
going
he
to have
runs.
the heart. So that's what we're looking at.
All right.
Are we going to miss the bear? Are we going to miss the long ball from the bear?
The long ball is going to be different. It's going to be a different team.
From who?
We might not have the long ball, but we're going to put the ball in play. What's more important to you? We score runs or we hit home runs?
No, I'm always put the ball in play.
All right. Put the ball in play.
Consistent, put the ball in play.
All right, Steve. Most valuable pitcher to this team in the rotation. Who wins the Mets Cy Young if you have to give the award?
Jeez, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Let's see. Sanger, is he going to be healthy?
Kodai Senga, most valuable pitcher to this Mets rotation.
If he's healthy.
All right, I'm with you.
I mean, we got to mix it up. We got guys that haven't performed need to step it up.
That's right.
That's what we're looking at.
You got a message from Mets fans, Steve? What's that message?
Yeah, go Mets. We've always been Met fans. We'll always be Met fans. Hopefully, management will realize that we're Met fans. And when we need to do the right thing, do the right thing. Don't send the bear away. Hook them up. Now, Soto, you listening? You need to step it up.
That was interesting. It seems like Steve from Michigan was actually interviewing you, Stefan. That's quite a little turn of events over there. This guy, when he gets the mic, that's it. All of a sudden, he turns into the next broadcast over here. Maybe he's going to start his own pod, Steve from Michigan. Oh, Steve is looking to come on with us. Steve gave me his number. He's like, hey, listen, don't message me. I don't have Instagram or anything like that. But you want to talk to me? I'll come on your podcast and talk to you. What does he want us to do? We got to send mail to him in Michigan? He's got no Instagram. What is he talking about, right? Are we going snail mail over here? I love that. Next up is going to be Joe from Staten Island. Joe's an awesome dude. Joe actually worked at the ballpark for many years, has a lot of experience as a security team member at Citi Field, at Shea Stadium. So let's hear from Joe on that experience and his prediction. So you're here, Mets opening day. You worked here for so long. Tell me a little bit about that. I got to talk to you about it.
Well, it was definitely a great experience. I was here for 18 years, worked security, met a lot of great people, interacted with a lot of great players, some of them more personable than others, and we won't get into that, but I won't diminish anybody's outlook on their favorite heroes, but yeah, had some really, really good times.
That's awesome. So we're here, 2026 opening day, a lot of buzz around this team. Where do you think the Mets finish this year?
The Mets have a good chance to dominate. They've definitely improved their team. Some people may not think so, but with all the subtractions, but I think the additions that they made certainly offset that and put them in a more positive outlook.
Okay, got you. Where do we finish? What place in the division? First place?
I would love to say that they're going to finish first and dominate the East, but there's always that unknown that can happen. But the Mets certainly have the tools to dominate and finish first in the East.
I'm with you, man. I'm projecting 101 wins this season. First place finish for the Mets. I might be overzealous, but I think this team is better than most teams that we've had in a long time.
Yes.
Different type of team. So for this team, who's the most important hitter in that dugout? Who is the Mets MVP?
Well, there's so many to choose from. I mean, if you want to go on the side of history, you can't discount Soto. Up and comers like I think Brett Beatty has a chance to do some damage.
Okay.
If he's put in the right in the right in the right light. I'd like to see him excel. I think the addition of Bo Bichette is far and away over and above anything that the Mets could have hoped for and could have done. And I expect big things out of Bo Bichette.
Okay.
Simeon, another great addition. It's just a matter of how comfortable is he going to be and how he fits into this lineup, and if he has that rejuvenation and goes back to being that all-star that he was and that offensive player. We know his defense is way, way better than what they had. So.
Yeah, well, so him coming in, playing that great defense behind a great pitcher. Who's the most important pitcher for this New York Mets team, that starting rotation? Who's it going to be? Mets Cy Young, we'll call it.
I think you can't discount Peralta or McLean, but I think that the key to this rotation is going to be Senga.
All right, Kodai Senga. That's getting a lot of recognition here. Kodai Senga's importance to this New York Mets starting rotation. I'm with you. I pick him to win Mets Cy Young as well. Comeback player of the year, all that.
I could certainly get on board with that.
Yeah, 100%. Are you excited for any of these rookies?
Oh, without a doubt. Carson Benj is a big key. Nolan McLean is a big key. And I think that what they have in the pipeline, that players that we're going to see during the course of this season are going to make good contributions. I can't wait to see A.J. Ewing coming up. I can't wait to see Morabito coming up and Jacob Rima. And obviously Jonah Tong. Jonah Tong is going to play a pivotal role, when he gets the call, and he will.
All right. Joe, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me on the podcast.
My pleasure.
Coming up next is Greg in the first inning. He's going to give us a nice little recap and hear what Greg has to say, because we always like to get his perspective.
Hi, Met fans. I'm here at our seats with my season ticket partner, G. Opening day. How we doing, brother?
We're doing amazing. Beautiful weather, 72 degrees. Baseball's about to start. Couldn't ask for a better day.
G, we got Freddy Peralta on the bump right now, taking his warm-up pitches. This is opening day at its best, my friend. Let's make some Mets predictions. Where do the Mets finish this year?
We win the division this year. I feel Philadelphia, they're on the decline. Bryce Harper's on the decline. Half that team is on the decline. The bullpen is a little shaky, just like ours. But I think when it comes down to September, we'll take care of business.
That's right. Here we go. Freddy Peralta's about to throw his first pitch. We'll call a little bit of this game as we're going. Freddy Peralta sets. Alvey getting ready to deal. O'Neal Cruz going to take this first pitch, and then we'll continue. Here we go. It's a ball by Freddy Peralta. All right, so...
It was a strike, though. They should challenge it, but it's too early in the game.
We can't use that ABS so soon, G.
Right.
All right, so Mets MVP. Who's it going to be the most important hitter in this lineup?
I say Lindor. Lindor has to have a 30 for 30 this year.
30 for 30 season. Calling it. G's calling a shot.
Calling it now. Lindor needs to show up. He's going to start off slow. We know he starts off slow. But by the time it's all over, he should put something productive together.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. So it's 1-1 count right now for Freddy Peralta. It's O'Neal Cruz. He's set. Let's see the pitch. It's a strike. That's a strike. Here we go, baby. All right.
1 count.
Next up, baby. Here we go. 2 strikes. The fans here getting behind Freddy Peralta. Who's the most important pitcher for this team? Is it the guy on the bump right now?
My boy, the Cy Young winner for this year, Nolan McLean.
Oh, that's a call. You're saying not Rookie of the Year, NL Cy Young Award winner is going to be
Matter
on
of
the
fact,
plate.
if you give him the Cy Young, you got to give him the Rookie of the Year as well. So let's give them both.
All right, here we go. All right. You think this New York Mets team is making the World Series?
Let me tell you something, man. In baseball, anything is possible. But all we got to do is play great baseball, play good defense, and let everything else play out.
All right, G, here we go. Let's go, Mets. Let's watch this game. Let's enjoy opening day, my friends.
Let's go.
Here we go.
That's from G. And so that G and I got a little bit of a play-by-play calling experience. Hopefully we get better at that throughout the season. But yeah, so that first inning, guys, incredible time. Freddy Peralta, he's out there on the mound. Maybe he's feeling some kind of emotions while he's out there. He didn't look nearly as sharp as we would have hoped for him to look. Ends up giving up a 2-run home run to Brandon Lowe, to Brandon Lowe on that pitch. That ball, when he hit it, and I can tell you from being in the ballpark, I'm thinking fly ball to right field. Carson Bench gets his first experience out in right field. Nice, easy fly ball. And you just see Bench keep trailing back, backing up to the fence. And now he's at the fence. That ball just sails over the fence, just over the top of his glove. It could have been an amazing catch if he was just a little bit taller. That ball ends up going over his head. Home run for Brandon Lowe. And the vibe in the ballpark, it just took a huge downturn. It's like, whoa, this is how we're starting off opening day. This can't be. The Mets win on opening day. And that's exactly then the Mets, I think, kind of said, we're not going to have this again. This team was known last year as a team that didn't have comebacks, especially in the ninth inning. In this first inning, they weren't going to let that happen, right? They came back right away, started to put together a rally immediately. Francisco Lindor works a walk. And for what it's worth, I think you're going to see that a lot at the beginning of the season from Lindor being very selective. There's definitely some pain that he's feeling in that hand whenever he takes a swing. And to mitigate that, I can promise you that you're going to see a lot of Francisco Lindor walks this year, at least at the beginning of the season while he's being super selective. So he works the count, gets a walk out there. Juan Soto comes up, and last year we had to wait a long time for a Juan Soto hit. The Juan Soto comes up, gets a hit. We've got runners on the corners at this point. Lindor's at third, and we get our first Bo Bichette at bat as a New York Met. He has a great at bat, ends up getting a sacrifice fly. The Mets get a run back immediately. And then things just kind of progress from there. The next batter up, Polanco hits a little squib hit off to the side.
Yep.
He shows off the speed, blows down the line, completely safe over there at first base. Polanco on that soft ground ball. We have Luis Robert comes up next. He shows a little bit of plate discipline, something that hopefully we can look forward to. He's definitely one of the guys that when we got him, we saw as a potential strikeout guy in this lineup, which the Mets were really trying not to be that team that strikes out a lot. Luis Robert, great job, works a walk, and then it sets up a bases loaded at bat for Brett Baty. So Brett Baty comes up there, has a great at bat himself, hits a ball over O'Neill Cruz's head that honestly probably is an out for most major league center fielders. Unfortunately, for the Pittsburgh Pirates, they don't have a major league center fielder in center field. They have O'Neill Cruz, and O'Neill Cruz misplays the ball, runs like 10 steps in before he realizes the ball's over his head. Unfortunately for him, can't get back. Fortunately for us, ends up being a triple for Brett Baty, bases clearing, and the Mets are now leading in this game 4-2. That then sets up Marcus Semien, who doubles. Brett Baty scores on that play, and now the Mets are up 5-2. So the Mets immediately don't allow for the Pittsburgh Pirates to settle in there. They attack Paul Skenes. Paul Skenes gets knocked out of this game in the first inning, and we are all sitting there in our seats, everyone around us. We're like, what the hell just happened? Paul Skenes is out of the game. No Paul Skenes for the rest of this game. And that's such a huge thing. Obviously, the Mets dominate in this game. We'll talk about the rest of the game, but it sets up a huge series for the Mets here where we get immediately into their bullpen. Johan Ramirez comes in. We know him, former Met. And the Mets, he's able to get them out of that inning at that point where the Mets are up 5-2.
Yeah, did you see Skenes after he got pulled out of that game? Oh, he shoots a look at O'Neill Cruz right when he gets pulled off that mound. I thought he was going to run after him. Like, I swear to God, like all of a sudden the camera's like zoomed in on Skenes. He gets pulled, right? He gets through 2/3 of an inning. He shoots his head back. So for the listening audience, right? I'm just kind of viewing him go back. He shoots his head back quick, gives him a quick look, and then turns back and then walks to the Pittsburgh dugout. I mean, he must have been livid with both of those plays in center field, right? Like I was floored what took place in that first inning.
Yeah, no.
But he got no errors. Official score, I can't complain. Gave our guys a couple of hits.
Yeah, that Simeon was a double. That was a double that Simeon hit. It was a pop-up. O'Neal Cruz loses it in the sunlight, drops in front of him.
It's a double. You can't give an error on a player who doesn't touch the ball.
Yeah, I was looking at the box scores, and I'm like, Simeon hit a double. I'm like, I don't remember him hitting the ball decent. I was like, oh, it was the pop-up. They gave him a double with. That's sick.
I'm sure O'Neal Cruz is happy. I'm sure Simeon's happy. That's what's up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, Paul
going on
Skenes
in
is
this
the one who's
game.
not happy. He's charged with 5 earned runs. All right, let's take it from here, boys.
Yeah, Freddy Peralta, he comes in, not the best start, gets up the second homer to Brandon Lowe, which makes it 5-3.
Crazy.
Fourth inning, Luis Robert with another huge at bat. Lindor and Soto get on, and you have first and second with Bichette. Polanco coming up, a strikeout on a long fly ball out, and then Robert comes through with another huge at bat. 2-strike base hit to make it 6-3. I mean, talk about night and day. A lot of promise, just one game, but I'm very excited about Robert and Freddie. He did his thing, but could have been cleaner. But first game, he's gonna get a long lead.
I feel like that Robert at bat that you were just describing was such a huge momentum shift back towards the Mets, right? The Mets go up this 5-2. They let up, again, a home run. It's now 5-3, and I felt like typical Mets, right? They get the first 2 guys on, as you just were describing. Then the next 2 guys, unproductive outs. He's down 1-2 count. And then Robert then hits a single to, in between the third base and shortstop. And that was such a big at bat, right? Like, going into the season, all I see is Robert's stats or Luis Robert's stats, with the White Sox and how terrible he was. And, I know it's one game, right? And I'm not getting ahead of myself, but man, he took professional at bats throughout the game. And it was really such a nice thing to see. He did not look overmatched at all. He was in the zone, locked up, right? And I thought that was just such a huge at bat, something that was really underrated there with that 6-3. So going into it now, right, where we have that big at bat by Luis Robert, and you think now that Freddy Peralta is going to kind of settle down. He's going to get us back into it. He's in a groove right now. He goes into that 5th inning with only 54 pitches, and so you're kind of thinking like, all right. He's got 54 pitches now through 4. He's starting the 5th inning. He'll give us 6, right? And for whatever reason, right, Freddie had a tough start, right? Like, let's not sugarcoat this, okay? If the Mets offense doesn't show up, people are looking at this box score saying 5 innings, 4 earned runs for Freddie, not great. And so in that 5th inning, he gives up a single, he gives up a double in that left field corner. Soto's having a little bit of trouble digging that ball out. That runner winds up from first base scoring. It is now a 6-4 game, and you have a runner on second, no out. And so Freddie then bears down. He's able to, it's the top of the order. Cruz strikes out. You then have Brandon Lau, who's killing him all day. He winds up getting like a weak ground ball, I think, to first base at that point. And he's able to get through that inning, right, which I thought was big. And at that point now, he's got 80 pitches. And the celebration that Freddy Peralta does after that big out in that 5th inning, you kind of felt like, I think his day is over, right? Like, it was like one of those things where, like, his adrenaline and his energy was like so jacked up that I kind of said, like, I don't think this guy's going to be coming back out for it. So he throws 80 pitches through 5 innings. Again, not the best start. He's got 7 strikeouts. But, for the Mets, right, that wasn't the highlight. And that wasn't the most important part. It was that obviously this offense is what really kind of took them through. And so, it's now so we're in that 5th inning now, right? We just mentioned before, it's a 6-4 game. And the Mets are able to then tack on 3 runs in that bottom half, okay? I know people are going to look at the box score, right? If you were watching this game, you're going to see Bo Bichette 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. He does have an RBI right in that first inning that Stefan, you kind of highlighted before. But one of the big at-bats, what's that?
It's Bo Bichette, 3 strikeouts.
Oh, he had 3 strikeouts. Yeah, that's a tough day for him. And that's not what we expected. Everyone said he puts the ball in play. But one of the at-bats that he has, one of these strikeouts, it's a 12-pitch battle he has with one of the Pittsburgh pitchers. He's fouling pitches off. I think he fouls off 8 pitches, right? And he winds up striking out. But what that then does is the next batter with Polanco, he draws a 4-pitch walk, right? So clearly that pitcher was pretty gassed after that at bat, and you think all right, I'm good over here. I just got that big strikeout. Polanco then walks. The Mets then, again, Robert, that he hits a little squibber to first base. And the pitcher at that point doesn't really cover first base. He like stops in the middle of the pitcher's mound at first base. Again, like maybe that at bat like just took away his mental focus, right, of what went on there. And so the Mets were able to just kind of tack on from there, right? I know in that inning, you have Soto getting a nice RBI, squeaking a ball through. And from that point on, now the Mets kind of handled this, right? It's now and at that point now they pull Freddy Peralta and then bring in Tobias Myers. All right, so Stefan, you want to talk a little bit about Tobias?
Yeah, I mean, this is our guy, right? Tobias Myers comes in immediately. Tobias Myers gets Marcelo Ozuna to pop out and then lets up a home run, big home run to Ryan O'Hearn. Ryan O'Hearn hits a shot off of him. That's a guy that we were definitely interested in as we were talking about what this Mets lineup could look like, who we can add. Ryan O'Hearn, new Pittsburgh Pirates, takes Tobias Myers deep, has the chance to ruin his day, but he doesn't. Tobias Myers does what we brought him here to do. And, you know, this was sort of one of those piggyback situations. He comes into this game and he pitches 3 innings from this point forward. And Tobias Myers gets 1 strikeout on the day, no walks. The 1 hit was this 1 home run that he gave up to Ryan O'Hearn. And other than that, he shut things down for this New York Mets team. Honestly, I really would have liked to see him go out there and finish the game. He ends up pitching the next 3 innings, and the Mets turn the ball over to Luis Garcia in the 9th, which was a little bit of an adventure. And so before we jump into that, I actually met up with one of our former students at the game while Tobias Myers was pitching. So it was before Luis Garcia came onto the mound. The vibes were super exciting. It was right during that rally where the Mets were putting up a bunch of runs, and I was able to bring Tommy onto the pod. So let's hear from Tommy right now.
Tommy, you're at opening day. Tell me how you're feeling about this New York Mets team. We're in the middle of this game. Alvarez just hit a home run.
Back to back. We had Luis Robert go first.
How are you feeling about this team?
Well, one thing that's different from last year, this team is definitely way deeper. And I don't want to be mean, but we had Tyrone Taylor coming up in the 9th spot. Now I got Benj going into Alvarez. I like that definitely with some pop. The only thing that I find kind of weird, hear me out. Robichek got with the runner in the scoring position. Bases loaded. You have Francisco Alvarez at third base. Personally, I want to switch Alvarez and Benj the lineup. Because if you get Robichek off with the bases loaded, I want Benj at third so he scores with a fly in the outfield. But that's nitpicky.
I'm with you. Alvy should not be batting 9 in this lineup. I'm 100% with you that we need a guy that's not going to clog up the base path
exactly.
At 9, right? Okay, so let me ask you this. This New York Mets team, your projection, where do they finish in the National League this year?
I want to say second cumulatively, and I think they're going to take the NL East. The only thing that's kind of weird for me on this team's success is I think the pitching is good. I'm a little like, I think McLean's going to be sneaky good. I think Singer's going to bounce back. I got to see if Robert, I got to see if Alvarez, I got to see if those guys can carry the offensive load a little bit. Because we expected Alvarez to kind of be that guy by now, and Robert really also should be that guy by now too, right?
I mean, he's had an MVP-like season in the past. If he can bounce back to that, as our 5 hitter, he's in a great spot. Yeah. Personally, I like to see him bat 9.
Because you get the speed too.
Yeah, I would have 100% loved to see him bat 9. He's batting 5 right now. Let's talk pitching real quick. And you were a pitcher, right? In high school, you were one of the best pitchers on our team.
Thank you.
So you know pitching. Who's the most important pitcher on this Mets team?
This is going to be a really weird one. So I think this team's very similar to the Brewers. I think 1 through 5, they're a little shaky, but they're solid. You get good starts. I'm going to give you a weird one. I think Sean Manaea is the most important pitcher. Do you know why?
Tell me why.
If any of these guys fail at any given moment, Senga kind of needs a 6-man rotation, honestly. If any of these guys fail at any given moment, you need someone with experience to come in. It's not going to be Tong. It's not going to be Tobias Myers. It's going to have to be Sean Manaea. And I know people are saying the velo's down or whatever, but last year, the same thing about Diaz. What did Diaz do last year? He was the best reliever in baseball, and his velo was down anyways. I think he's the most important just as that swing guy.
All right, I hear you. Which rookie on this team are you more excited for? Nolan McLean or Carson Bench, who just popped his first major league home run?
I don't want to be mean, but it's Cowboy Ohtani.
Okay.
It's McLean. He's a sheriff out there. I love the aura. I love everything about him. The big curveballs, everything. The strikeouts going to be so nasty. I like Bench, but McLean brings a lot to offer.
So yeah, clearly Thomas, really excited. This kid played baseball with us. He knows pitching, and you know, he had a lot to say about this New York Mets team. He's been a Met fan his whole life. Great kid, and so happy that Tommy's now with us, following the podcast. Great to see him and his family. And then we'll jump into Luis Garcia. You guys know how I feel about this guy. This is going to be the first guy, I'm telling you, that doesn't end up working out for this New York Mets team. I don't care how much money he's getting paid. but he did
He's
not
not
have
making a
a
lot of money. He's not making a lot of money. I think he's making a 1.75 with incentives for another 1.25, right? So it's
That's
like
cool.
$3 million total.
His spot is gonna be the one that's rotated constantly. This is gonna be the shuffle.
Not
And maybe
Dickey?
no, yeah, I don't even count him. He's not even on the team. I'd be shocked if he even pitches. How many times did that guy get added to this team? Dickey Lovelady get added to this team, designated for assignment, and never even threw. So Dickey Lovelady doesn't count.
Okay. It's AJ Minter, right? Like, it's not Dickey, right? It's AJ Minter,
Yes,
right? Like,
right,
I'm with you on
right.
that. Yeah. It's
100%.
really AJ
Alright.
Minter.
All right, so let's close it out.
So you're now they're up 11-5 at this point, right? We'll get to the Benj Alvarez home runs that kind of puts this over the top. Luis Garcia comes in, he gives up a couple of base hits, right, and then a stinging double to right center. At this point now, right, the wheels are kind of coming off the track a little bit for this guy, but I know that, like, from the pitcher perspective, right, the manager says, okay, we have a big lead here, right? The Mets are up 11-5. Throw strikes. Let these guys beat you. Right. And for Luis Garcia, okay, like it was pretty clear that he was grooving fastballs and saying, let these guys kind of beat you over here. And that's kind of what happened over here. Then he kind of settled down and he was able to get through that frame. But, we'll get to like some of the big takeaways, but there was a big moment in that ninth inning. I personally think that with Alvarez, where he was able to have a successful challenge on an 0-0 pitch. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but they called it a ball. Alvarez then challenges it. And I mean, it was like close. Like, if you look at the ABS system, like half the ball is in, half the ball is out. So I'm not going to kill the umpire on there, but it wound up like overturning that call. And then it was an 0-1 count. And from there, I felt like Luis Garcia was able to kind of settle down a little bit. Eventually gets through that frame. The Mets then kind of take our first victory, 11 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Luis Garcia, it's all good because the Mets won. I think Devin Williams, though, had to get up in the pen and kind of and warm up a little bit, which I hate to see those types of things happening, because all managers talk about is like, we had to get him up. That almost counts as an outing, right? It's like, what are you talking? But, I'm not going to kill the guy. It was his first appearance. The Mets were up big. His job is to throw strikes, let those guys beat you a little bit. But he was able to settle down. Let's hope he is not the revolving door, okay, of the guy that Stefan is just talking about. But the most important thing is the Mets had a victory, right? And it was an 11-7 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates on opening day. Man, does that feel good? The Mets on opening day, it's money in the bank, right? But, this game was an exciting game. And for Met fans, right, we wanted to just kind of take you through some of like the major highlights, right, of that game. I'm assuming if you're listening to this podcast, you watched that game. I don't think any fan is sitting for an hour podcast and not watching opening day. But we definitely wanted to highlight, right, some of like those major like things, and then we're going to talk about some of the big takeaways here.
Yeah. First thing, Carson Bench, first major league hit, home run to right center, and awesome. Really good plate discipline by Bench. Really didn't look overmatched in his first game, and I think we have a lot to be excited about. Right after that, Alvarez follows it up with a massive 340 shot to left. I mean, I called it. I think Alvarez is going to be the team leader in home runs, and I think it's just effortless power, which I think we haven't seen in a long time. But
Yeah.
very excited. Just got to stay healthy for Alvarez, and Benj is just going to do what he's going to do, and it's going to be very exciting.
I mean, that was a bold prediction you made, right? Alvarez leading the team with 40 home runs, but man, dude, he looks locked in from spring training, right, to the opening day. He looks like a different player, right? It really was when he got called up from AAA last year, or called back up from AAA last year, that I felt like his approach kind of changed, and he looked like the guy we saw a couple of years ago. For whatever the reasons are, right? We're not going to dive into the analytics of his breakdown of his swing, but man, that's the guy that I think could be a big game changer, right, for the New York Mets this year in Alvarez.
Yeah, it's why he can't bat 9, right? Like, if he hits 40 home runs, like Sid said he's going to hit, he's definitely not going to bat 9 for long. But he's clogging up a spot in the 9 hole. You have to move him higher in this lineup. You need to put a guy with speed down there. And I know that maybe they don't want to do that to Marcus Semien.
Right.
You do it with Carson Bench. Let him bat 9, right? You want Luis Robert batting higher in the lineup? I'd love him 9. There's a bunch of other guys with speed that you can put on the base paths in front of Lindor and Juan Soto instead of Francisco Alvarez, a guy who, like, I don't know if he's going to hit 40, Sid, but this is a guy that at least can hit 25 home runs, 30 home runs effortlessly, as you said, right? Like, that's going to happen. And so That's
Yeah,
the
you
one
know,
change here that I have a gripe with Mendy about is why is Francisco Alvarez batting 9?
also it's 2026, you know. The ninth hitter is not your worst hitter anymore. It's
Right.
now, and I think all Mets fans know, and I think we hear Keith Hernandez say this often, you know, it's your second leadoff hitter.
Right.
Mhm.
That's what your nine hole and it's apparent. And I think you're 100% right. And I think we'll see that move maybe sooner or later. You know, Alvarez is going to make that decision himself.
Yeah, I think it, Stefan, you kind of mentioned it. I think it's about the veterans, right? And Mendy not trying to disrespect the veterans, and a guy like Alvarez who has not. He's produced in the major leagues, but he hasn't really produced, and so like he's not going to look at himself and be like, "Man, I'm a 4 hitter, right? Like look at my career stats." Versus guys that have done it before, right, on the major league level, that are also new to the team, right? Like it's not like excuse me, Marcus Simeon's been here for 4 years, or Luis Robert's been here for 3 years, right? And they've kind of like been acclimated. So Mendy's obviously trying to build relationships with these guys as well. And I think it's very possible. And I know that sounds dumb, but like it's possible that it's like an ego thing, right? Like I don't want to bat these guys 9 when that might be the best like actual lineup that I can produce. And so, you know, like Sid you just kind of mentioned before, these things will work themselves out, right? I'm not too worried about it, right? It's opening day, it's all good, right? The vibes are high over there, but I'm with you. It's definitely a peculiar spot for Alvarez. I don't think that one that really makes a lot of sense for where he is in that lineup.
Yeah. All right. Next big takeaway here, the offense of this team, and we talked about it once this team was kind of set. It's a different team, right? Watching the product on the field is exciting. You can't really turn away while the Mets are batting because they put the bat on the ball, they foul pitches off, and that's exactly what they did throughout this entire game until that 7th inning when they hit their first home run. This team is a team that relied on the long ball all of last year, right? All of last year, we were waiting for somebody to step up and hit the home run, and that wasn't the case here. The Mets got their first home run of this game after the 7th inning, and they had already scored 9 runs at that point. It's a great sign.
Yeah, no doubt. And like you just kind of alluded to, if you look at the opening day like lineup from last year, there are 7 players that are different than they were last year. And I know you're like, wait, that doesn't make any sense, right? But Alvarez was hurt last year. He was not in the lineup. Brett Beatty was in AAA. He was not in the lineup, right? And so there are 7 out of 9 spots in the order that were different than last year. And that's huge, right? Like it is a different team. It was a weird, like when seeing these introductions that we saw at the beginning of this podcast, like when you're seeing these guys kind of rolling out, you're like, yeah, wow, that it is a totally different lineup. And I'm with you guys, right? It was professional at bats. We drew a lot of walks, right? And we'll allude to that in just a moment. But like it just looked like guys like took professional at bats throughout the game against tough pitchers, right? Like Paul Skenes is the best pitcher in the NL, and they battled him. And I know, again, it's the first game, it's the first start, but how could you not be excited about that, right? Like that, if you're not excited about that, then you're not a fan here, right? Like that was awesome to see a guy who is so dominant. For the Mets to go down 2-0 in that first inning, and for them to battle back, even though they were a little bit lucky, I don't care about that. They were taking professional bats throughout and making Paul Skenes work, right? And it was pretty awesome to see. Another big takeaway, right? Like this is new. Okay, the ABS challenge, and I thought Francisco Alvarez did an awesome job in this game specifically. He had 2 successful challenges, one coming on a 3-2 pitch to O'Neal Cruz. And why that was such a big deal was, yeah, sure, Freddy Peralta then winds up getting a strikeout with that. But at that point, that was when the game was 5-2. It was, Sid, you were kind of alluding to before, is that Brandon Lowe hits that home run to make it a 5-3, his second of the day. O'Neal Cruz was batting in front of Brandon Lowe in that specific inning. If that was a walk, it's now O'Neal Cruz getting on first base, and if all things stay the same, Brandon Lowe hits that home run. Instead of a 5-3 game, it's now a 5-4 game. And it wasn't even close. Like when you challenge that in the ABS system, that ball was clearly in the middle of the zone. So it was just a bad call by the umpire. It was to a point where it was not only like Alvarez calling for it, Freddy Peralta was also like, I'm not supposed to do, like, he's like, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but like, dude, that's a strike. Right? He better be challenging that because they knew that 3-2 pitch was a strike. So the successful challenge over there. And I kind of already mentioned that other one with Luis Garcia in that 9th inning. Again, not as big of a deal, but it was an 0-0 count. Instead of it being a 1-0 count, it's now an 0-1 count. And so to not fall behind with a guy like Luis Garcia, who was struggling in that inning, that builds a lot of confidence, right? And so nice job by Alvarez with both of those challenges. A little wrinkle in the game, right? Like you're not going to be able to do this all the time, but it's a new wrinkle in the game, a strategic wrinkle in the game. And Alvarez, I thought had it's just an awesome game, not just offensively, but defensively as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think we saw it firsthand from game one. It's a huge philosophical change in batting. 192 pitches over 8 innings, which is insane. 152 in the first 5 innings, 9 walks. You see it top to bottom. From hitter number 1 to 9, these guys are grinding out at bats. Even like guys that we expected this to be more of, like Bichette, 3 strikeouts didn't matter because other guys picked up the slack and. The Mets saw a lot of pitches, and this kind of brings me back to those 2000 Mets with Jose Reyes, Luis Castillo, David Wright, Beltran, and Delgado. Like they would just really wreck a pitcher's pitch count, to start off a game. And I felt like that was something that I enjoyed watching, and I'm getting to see it again, so I'm very excited.
Met fans, if you're not following this podcast on social media, make sure that you're doing that. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Beat the Mets fans. We're everywhere. Check us out on meetthemetsfans.com to get every single episode. Stream us everywhere, Spotify, Apple Pods, and on YouTube for the video. Before we wrap up, guys, I want to leave you with this. We call this episode Death, Taxes, and Opening Day Victory for the New York Mets. We know that they're going to win on opening day. We got this win. We've won on opening day a tremendous amount of time. 75% of the time the Mets win on opening day. Doesn't matter. Are we a good team? What do you guys think? Are the New York Mets actually as good as we saw on opening day, or does O'Neal Cruz just suck? Because O'Neal Cruz had a terrible game. In the first inning, the first thing he does is get a hit, right? Great start for him. Everything after that for O'Neal Cruz was terrible. The guy struck out 3 times and had 2 errors that knocked Paul Skenes out of this game. So are we good, or is O'Neal Cruz just bad? Is this just a Mets opening day win that doesn't matter because we win every opening day, or are we actually a good team? Ted, what do you think?
I think it's obvious. We're a World Series caliber team from game one. Tough luck for O'Neal Cruz, but he's a phenomenal player. He'll definitely turn it around. I think, the Pirates, they're spending money. They have a lot to look forward to. This is the first time they were over $100 million. Ryan O'Hearn, even Marcell Ozuna, guys, quality guys to come and fill up that roster. This was a good team we beat, and this was one of the best pitchers we beat. I don't want to undermine them, and I don't want to undermine this.
No, yeah. I mean, listen, you want to get off to a good start, right, in the season. So you got Pittsburgh, you got the Cardinals coming up, right, and then you travel out to San Fran. And so to get yourself an opening day win against Paul Skenes after going down 2-0 in that first inning, really, I thought was just a tremendous job by this team and by the Mets. Because again, when we look ahead, at what's actually going to be taking place is that going down 2-0 again. In my head, I'm like, oh my God, are we seriously going to lose against Paul? You're going down 2-0 against Paul Skenes, that's trouble. From my perspective, right, I thought it was a little interesting the way that Mendy kind of set up the rotation. Is that obviously you gave Freddie the opening day start, and then you got Peterson coming in game 2, and then McLean in game 3. And so as the game is just starting out, the Mets going down 2-0, I'm getting pessimistic. I'm like, no, man, if we lose this game, now we got to rely on Peterson. Who knows what he's going to give us, right? Instead of us having McLean, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was just a tremendous job, right? I know it's just one game, and I know people are going to be listening to this pod and be like, dude, you need to relax. I am relaxed. I'm just telling you that I like to see a nice victory against one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, and so, yeah, Stefan, what do we got looking ahead, right? We obviously, I just kind of alluded to the Mets pitching coming up, but, we still have a series over here.
Yeah, I'm trying to find who's pitching for Pittsburgh on Sunday against Nolan McLean.
I'm going to be honest, man. I am like all of us are fantasy guys. Who's pitching for Pittsburgh is someone I've never heard of. It's Moldeski. I don't know who he is because the Pittsburgh has like Ashcraft, who is actually a really good. He was a rookie last year. He's a really good pitcher. I don't know why he is not, pitching game 3. I'm not sure if Pittsburgh goes home after this. Maybe they wanted him for their opening day, right? That's very possible. I'm not sure what their schedule looks like ahead, but it's some guy named Molodesky. I'm not sure who he is, but that's their game 3 starter.
Yeah, I was trying to find that real quick, couldn't find it. I was like, who's
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
the pitcher for this
I
game?
saw it before. Yeah, I was like, who the heck is that?
All right, so let's start with today, right? Like this episode's going to come out right before our next game for the New York Mets. David Peterson is going to be taking on Mitch Keller in Game 2 of this series, and then, as you said, Nolan McLean versus Molodesky. So
Molodinsky or something like that. Yeah,
hopefully we're not butchering that guy's name. It is what it is.
Yeah, my bad, buddy.
What do we think, guys? What do we think the Mets are going to do? Let's predict. Are the Mets sweeping this series? Are the Mets going to lose the next 2? What's happening here? What do you got?
Yeah, bring out the brooms. This is done. I mean, Pittsburgh decided that McLean was coming up and didn't want to waste one of their good, younger good guys, Ashcraft or Bubba Chandler. So if we win Saturday, it's a sweep.
Yeah, baby. I love that. Yeah, I mean, listen, Mitch Keller's a professional pitcher, right? He's pretty good. But this lineup is scary, man, right? Like if you're an opposing pitcher and you're looking at this lineup, it's relentless, right? When you go Lindor, Soto, Bo, Polanco, and then if Luis Robert can do what he just did in that first game and have at bats like that, that is scary, man. And so if you're a starting pitcher and you're seeing these guys coming up, it's relentless, right? We allude to like one of those big at bats of Bo Bichette, that 12-pitch at bat, and it's like, all right, I got through that. Oh man, Polanco's coming up now, man. He's then it's Luis Robert, then it's Brett Beatty, right? So it's legit, man. And so yeah, I'm with you on that. The fact that we're butchering this guy's name, Molodesky, he'll probably throw 7 shutout innings against us, right? And we'll probably never butcher his name again. But yeah, obviously, I think the Mets are going to take care of business over here. At least take 2 out of 3. If I had to guess, right, hopefully Peterson gives a good start today. But yeah, I think McLean is gonna be legit on Sunday. So the games start. If you haven't saw it today, on Saturday, it's a 4:10 game, and then the McLean game is I think it's 1:40 on Sunday, right? That they have. So that's kind of our look ahead over here. But I'm with you. I like the clean sweep as well, Sid.
We're taking a clean sweep. I'll say the Mets win one of these next 2 games. I'm hoping it's the Nolan McLean start, but if I'm being fully honest with myself, I'm gonna bank on David Peterson being the guy that he was in the first half of last year and shutting down Mitch Keller, which to me is a huge deal. Mitch Keller's not a joke of a pitcher, right? He's a solid pitcher for Pittsburgh, and we're gonna need David Peterson to pitch well and this Mets offense to continue to produce against Mitch Keller. So I'm taking David Peterson with a win in this game today, and then I'm taking a Nolan McLean no decision because I think he's going to pitch really well. And if I have to give the Mets a loss, it's going to be in this game. I hope I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I did predict 100 and something wins for this New York Mets team, and so a clean sweep would really help me in my prediction for that to happen. But I'll be the cautious one here and say we win the series 2 out of 3.
I like it. All right, so Met fans, right? Expect these pods to be coming out a little bit more frequently as the season now has begun. We'll definitely be doing a recap of the entire series, okay, after Pittsburgh on Sunday. If something crazy happens in the game on Saturday, right, we'll probably hop on for a quick minute. But that's kind of like the schedule of what we're looking at right now. So Met fans, right, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. We got some cool stuff coming up, no doubt, right? Can't get ahead of ourselves, right? We're trying to line up some people, right, to be coming on, right, as some special guests. We're gonna do our best, right, to bring out some pretty good content for all of us.
Let's close it out, Sid. Put it in the books. Let's go Mets, baby.
Meet the Mets fans, voices rising up from the stands. Hear their cheers, hear their groans, feel their highs, feel their moans. Stories untold now on the mic. Mets fans unite.